How you doing, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of PG and Dax Roundup. Before we get going, just a wee usual bit for our sponsor, Tassos Giros, who Big Ange Postecoglou was there today. That shows you how good it is. A true Greek was there.
Yeah, you know the Bulgy went up, right? And he says, "Do you know why I'm here? Because PG and Dax told me to go."
Mate, it's no surprise. That's the reach we've got. Right,
mate, unbelievable.
Let's get tore into it because I need to go to work in less than an hour. So, Scottish Junior Cup.
You've got what? Yeah, you've got what? And I've got the Love Island final, mate.
Oh, is it the final, mate?
No, in fact, final's tomorrow, mate.
Oh, it's the penultimate one. Right, so we'll just get tore into it. Right, first round of the Junior Scottish Cup. Couple of results that I'm not going to read through them all because there's just too many games. One that's sticking out for me, 2-0 Cumbernauld against Kilbirnie. Tam and Sean gone there. I'm not sure if they were actually taking the game yesterday, but that's the first time that they've kind of been in the management team. But on the other side of that, Greenock lost to Rob Roy in their first game without Tam and Sean. I think it was Gary Fleming that took your team on Saturday.
Gary Fleming took it. I played with Gary. So wish him all the best in the wee caretaker role.
It wasn't a bad result, to be fair. 2-1s. It's not too bad because Rob Roy are starting to pick up a wee touch as well.
Yeah.
Greenock,
and we're obviously good pals with Tommy and Sean and that and Owen, so all the best to them.
We gave a wee mention in our first roundup, but I didn't realise that the tweet was announced about an hour after we recorded.
As I said, they shot it because they were meant to be taking you out for drinks after the return game with Arfield, so they shot it for a dark party.
Mate, they're tighter than 2 coats of paint, mate. That was never going to happen. Right, next result we'll look at Ashfield 5, Isle of Vale 0. Obviously you won there, but what were the guys saying about it?
Missed it due to work, PG. See that, but don't get me wrong, see that was an away game at Isle of Vale. I'd have got a shift swap for that, mate, because I wouldn't have missed that bus trip up there. No, but all counts, mate. The boys played well. And it was a good day. The Gaffer ran a wee academy day for the boys, so they met at the cafe and stuff. And there was a big crowd for the academy there, and scored 5 goals. The big thing for me, mate, was a clean sheet because for all how well we've been playing and doing, we've just been needing that clean sheet. So hopefully that's a catalyst for us to just something to build on and take his own. But no, delighted to be in the next round, and we've obviously got the Ants in the next round away.
That right?
Aye, we've got the Ants, mate. So a lot of good guys down there and a lot of good people, mate. So that should be a good game. Not quite the away day that you maybe want in the Scottish, but no, a good day. We're through 5 goals, 5 different goal scorers. Can't ask for any more, mate.
Obviously, you're saying it's not the away day you want, but see, to be fair, even though the Ants have been, we'll get on to the result for yesterday, after having a great result against Nielsen, it is a game that you'll fancy yourself that you'll have a good chance of being able to win, so there's a possibility of being able to progress into the next round after that as well.
At the same time, the Ants will be saying, no, it's a game that they can win.
Aye, definitely.
So, it should be a good game.
Aye, it's good. Next up, we have the Talbot beating Montrose, Rosalie 3-1, and Dwayne Hislop making his return, scoring a double. I watched the highlights today. A couple of great strikes for him. It looked quite a comfortable win for the highlights that I watched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, listen, the Talbot are a juggernaut in this tournament, aren't they? So they just get through the rounds, man. They coast through the rounds. So no surprises there, mate.
We've got Beath 3-2 against Maud, scoring a late goal. Conor McGlinchey scored it. I watched the highlights of that as well earlier. It looked first half.
Was that a free kick for Conor?
No, mate, it was a long range effort. Was it a free kick?
Aye, mate.
No, I actually forgot. It was a good strike though. I remember it being a good strike.
But it's good. It's good.
I think that's him. Got 4 goals. He's the second top goal scorer from this season. Kenny McLean scored another one as well. He's done quite well already this season. It looked like the second half that they were right in top, but scoring late on, and that could have fucked your Coopman, to be fair. Because that was one. They were 1-33 or something stupid like that. Nearly fucked your Coopman. So if they had, they'd been taking the money out of Butch's pocket.
See, being honest with you, mate, people probably don't know too much about Maud, but by the sounds of it, they were probably decent and well organised so far. Butch and that, Butch knows best, man. He knows the Scottish Cup so well. It's just getting through the rounds, and they've won the game, and they're in the hat for the next round. So it's job done, innit?
That's what it is, really. I don't know. I think they'd rested a couple of players as well, but it was a good result. Cambuslang 8-1 against Fauldhouse. I can only really remember Fauldhouse a few years ago when they were always a good side, but then you've got Scott Williamson, who I think he scored his 400th goal of the season yesterday.
Boys get but 7 and then 4 in the last 2 games at least, and about 20 goals this season. So hats off to him. But to be fair, it's not a one-man team. Maybe they're obviously creating loads of chances for him, and he's tucking them away and going through a rich vein of form. So listen, that goal return's unbelievable at any level.
Scary, man. Scary.
I didn't expect them to go, and I thought they would win, but I didn't think it would be so comfortable for them. So another brilliant result for
Campbell. I think it's one of the ones where, like I said, I remember Faltus a few years ago, and they were a good side. So
they were a good side when JC was a gaffer.
Aye, I expected them to. I expected Cambuslang to win, but I expected it to be tighter.
Mm-hmm.
A wee bit of a shock. Colony Park drew 1-1 with Hurlford and then beat them 5-4 in penalties. I think Hurlford. It's hard to tell because you don't know how serious these teams are taking the Scottish Cup, as the league's probably what matters more, and maybe trying to progress into the Lowland League. But I was a bit surprised at that result. I don't imagine Hurlford will be overly happy with it.
I think all teams that have kept their junior status all want to do well in it, because it's still that prestige of the cup. So they'll be disappointed with that. It wasn't a result I expected either, mate.
Another shock for me. East Craigie beating the Rock 3-1. Obviously Paul Kelly wasn't there, and you had Andy back in the dugout, and I think Barry Russell as well, which we were hoping. Well, we always hope they win because we're pally with them, but I was a bit surprised at that result. Again, that's another one they'll be disappointed after a couple of weeks ago having a good result against the Drum. It's 2 defeats in a row for them.
See, sometimes, man, I just think the day sometimes ends up outweighing the football, man, and that's not the way it should be. Do you know what I mean? I've been part of that myself, where the talk all week, I don't know if that was the case at the Rock, I probably doubt it would have been, but the talk all week's about the Swally and the way home and what he's going to do in the bus and the way down the road, and then you end up taking your eye off the ball in the game. But they've probably been a good side then, because they beat the Rock 3-1 in the kind of form they were on. Obviously, I know they had a disappointing result against Kilsyth, but it's a good result for them. And I'm sure the Candy still would have had a party in the ride back to the road.
I'm sure after the initial
especially the gaffer and the assistant gaffer, no there.
Aye, sure after the initial disappointment they had a good day.
Yeah.
Another shock for me was Perthshire beating Ardere 5-2, and it looks like my wee prediction for the last episode is maybe ringing true. It's a result you wouldn't expect for Sean. Again, you don't know how serious they're taking it. They might be focusing on the league and that they've maybe rested players or whatever, but it's quite a heavy defeat as well, which I wasn't expecting.
See, one guy that doesn't get probably enough credit for the job he does is Billy down at the Shire, mate, because obviously they're close neighbour to us, but what that guy does there and keeps that club running year after year, trying to get players in and all that. So tremendous, mate. Tremendous for Billy and tremendous for the Shire. My family have got quite close links to the Shire. I've always took it a bit tight for being a Rock and an Ashfield boy. But no, listen, the Shire have got good players, and Sean will be disappointed because you always wanted to go a wee cup run to take off league duties, but the Shire down there is always tough. You know what I mean? So no, it's a great result for Shire. The Billy's doing a great job this season. I see the results are picking up, man. They've been excellent.
They're starting to find a wee bit of form. Another one just to touch on, it was a big result. Glenafton away to Lochee Hart, beating them 9-2. And then we've got Craigmark and Luga played for the second time in 4 days. Pretty similar result. Craigmark took 7 off them for the second time in a week. Newmains got the first win of the season against Orion, a 2-1 win. A big shock for me, Stonywood beating Wishaw 4-1. I think the Wishaw's going through a wee rough patch now.
Man, Spud's on the ball, mate. So, see, getting put at the cup is disappointing, but then you just try and put it in the back of your mind and then you move on. Do you know what I mean? It's no debt what they're trying to do in the league, man. They'll just try and focus on that now, and obviously the cup's in the West now. But they'll be disappointed not to go through. But listen, that's a good result for obviously Stonywood as well. Tell you what, the West teams, they done brilliant.
There was hardly anybody went out, to be honest. It was quite...
Pissed all the tap in West teams, didn't they?
It was quite... With another one, you've got Pollock beating Maple 7-0, granted that was 2 West teams. Then you have Arthurlie beat Whitehouse 13-1.
Mate, Arthurlie's players, mate, if they if they're playing you and then they get in the lead early, mate, and then they just start being relentless, mate. For the outside, they look as if they're relentless when they get that smell that wee bit of blood, man, and they go for it. Do you know what I mean? That's
a sore one to take. I mean, I don't know if I've ever been involved in a game where a team have lost 13 goals. Granted, had it with St Peters against Clydebank pre-season where we could beat 11-1, but getting beat 13-1, that's a right soaring.
There's not much difference between 13 and 11.
There is, mate. There's two goals.
I know, man, but still.
13's worse.
10's fucking acceptable.
It's not, mate. Fucking shut up, right? One of San Pedro's. Final game we have that was mentioned. Kirriemuir 3, Petershill 3. Petershill won 11-10 in penalties. Apparently it went all the way back round to the start, which...
Mate, the bends were the same, because I was talking
10-9 they won. 10-9 in penalties.
I was talking to wee Danny McLean, the goalie down there. We pals with him, so he ended up eventually hitting one, so they're probably been the same at the Pisa game where the goalies were getting in the act, but...
I'll tell you what, he ended up hitting one, but he didn't fucking save many.
Saved 3, mate, the boy.
Saved 3? Well, that's not too bad. Right, we're moving on to the Premier League now. Bonnyton 1, Rossvale 3. A big result. Cumnock beating Colwynnon 1-0 with a Fry goal. That's a big game for Tony, and it's a sore game for Straney to lose after that's a couple of points have dropped recently.
See, firstly, mate, the first result, Rossvale, I think hats off got to go to Dyack and Rossvale, to be honest, mate, because last 3 games they've took 7 points, they've won 2, drew 1, so they've seemed to have turned the heat a wee bit, and that's a couple of great results. They've got a very young team down there as well, so
we've mentioned this before. I think you've got to give a lot of credit to their committee, because they gave Moff the job, who did really well. They gave Gomes the job, who did really well. And now they gave Dyack the job, who seems to have had a right good start.
See, the thing is, he's no longer in the door, so I don't think you can class him in the same bracket as the guys that achieved it. But at the same time, he's gave them a lift and he's getting results, because they've scudded Kilburn off a couple of weeks before that too. So no, listen, firstly on that, Rossvale have done well. Only Cumnock one, what a result!
Brilliant result.
An absolute brilliant result for Tony and Branco, and that is, it's mad, because all the teams up the top have all kind of dropped points at the weekend. But as I keep saying, it shows you that there's no easy games. I know, speaking to Tony and Branco, they're starting to get a few players back as well, like most teams are. So I've seen Cumnock's the table. They've played 10, they've won 5, lost 5. So they're kind of, but they've beat probably the better teams in the league, and no disrespect, they've probably lost games where they're maybe
you wouldn't expect them to
lose. So that'll be something that I'd imagine that Tony and Branco and that was going to try and sort out. But to be honest with you, man, they guys are top coaches, so now it's going to want to a week. But what a result! That's a great result.
It's a big one. It's a sore game for Straney. They had a chance to go. Well, them and Clydebank both had a chance to overtake the Talbot the weekend. None of them were able to do it. Now the Talbot have a game in hand. And
the best thing for Straney and the Kilwinning boys is that nobody really took advantage of them dropping points that weekend due to the other 2 teams. So they're still within very close distance. And as I say, there'll be plenty more twists and turns. They'll just get back working hard at training and go again.
The big one of the weekend, Clydebank and Darvel. Darvel 2 up with 9 minutes to go. Then big Jamie Darrett gets a late double, scores a penalty in injury time. That's a couple of weeks in a row they've scored late goals. So obviously you're going to be, see if you're Moff and Gasnat, you're delighted, and that's a good point as well, because Darvel's obviously a very good side. But at the same time, see if they're wanting to win the league, Kilwinning fall into this as well. You can't keep dropping so many points. I'd say the bonus for Clydebank is they're no losing points against the teams that are up there with them. They're beating everybody else and getting draws with the teams up there with them. But you can't keep dropping points if you want to go and win the league. And I think that, granted, they'll be happy, but I also think maybe in the long term they might be a wee bit disappointed, because that's 4 games at 11 they've dropped points in. Still no lost a game. But if you want to go and win a league, you can't be dropping that many points.
Aye, well, firstly, big Jamie Darrett, man, he is an absolute gentleman, man. I played with him at Ashfield, great guy, mate, and for a centre half to get 2 goals. But on that game, I said the big things for me is, see, Mick will be disappointed, right? He's not going to need us to tell him and our players, because they're 2-0 up and they're in probably about the last 10 minutes. Just need to see the game through. So listen, I wasn't at the game, so I can't really comment. They'll be very, very disappointed in their dressing room, because when you get to that stage of the game, you're just looking for the team to shut up shop and then just go away with a win, especially when it was so close into in their clutches. But it's more disappointing. It'll feel more for a defeat for probably the Darvel boys.
Definitely.
It'll feel more like a victory for the Clydebank boys, because what they seem to have under Morph and Gaz is this never say die attitude. They never know when they're beat. And see, to be honest with you, that's amazing to have in that team.
Well, that's the thing. With Clydebank, you'd Nicky Little failed a fitness test, and the two other strikers, listening to his interview, Nicky Little's failed a fitness test, one of the other strikers failed a fitness test. The two that they had on the bench, the two they had playing, one on the bench, one no playing, could only do 45 minutes each because they were struggling with their fitness. So they're obviously been short of players. So even at that, I'd imagine they'd be right happy. But Darvel,
I think Mick and Darvel, I think they've got quite a few boys. I think they've
I'm not even sure. Because they've got a squad, but I think as well, they've dropped points in 3 out of the last 4 games. Again, if you want to go and win league titles, then that's not the kind of form that's going to get you.
Mick will be disappointed for winning positions that they're not seeing it through. And listen, they boys in that dressing room have all won things, and they've all been there the piece. So they'll be hurting themselves just out of their own professionalism and their own standards. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't discount anybody. It's very early stage, but at the same time, brilliant for Clydebank.
You're right. You're at a stage. The Talbot, for me, I predicted them to win the league. I still fancy them to win the league. I think they could win it by 6 or 7 points, because they just don't look like they're going to drop many points. But at the same time, everybody at the top's kind of taking points off each other. So it's not exactly for Mick and for Moff. It's not exactly the end of the world that you've had this draw. You know what I mean? It's still plenty of football to play.
As you say, plenty of football to play.
Moving on to Conference A, a big win for Maryhill, beating Girvan 3-2 down there. After having a kind of couple of harder games.
2-0 up, then it goes to 2 each. So for them being on the back of the result against Arthurlie, for them to go 2 each and then no lose the game and go and win it is brilliant for them. Do you know what I mean? It just shows that they had that wee bit of grit, determination. So that's good for their confidence, because I remember the other day they were talking about Ross will be disappointed in their recent form. So to go down there away day and pick up the 3 points is a great result for Maryhill. So well done to them.
He's kind of climbed them up the table a couple of places as well.
Yeah.
In Conference B, there was only one game as well. The Port beat Kello 3-1. Port seem to have found a wee bit of form after I predicted them to have a hard season. I think that's them 1, 2 or 3 in a row now. See, to be honest, Coyle and Eddie are doing a good job. The fact that they always manage to keep them going, and they're always hard to beat us, because they're a tough team. I mean, they're very physical in that, but they've got a bit of quality in there. So that's a good result for them.
We play them in a couple of weeks and we know it'll be an easy game. The thing is, I think that's maybe a hard one to judge, because a couple of results I'm looking and going, how's that happened? Like, I think Renfrew beat them 6-1, and then I think that Thornley would have gave them a bit of a doing, but then they go to Gartcairn and they draw, and then they beat Kello. I think a big thing for them was probably midweek games was the ones that they were struggling with. So I think at the end of the midweek games, you're going to see a strong Port Glasgow side now for the foreseeable, mate.
Again, it's what we've spoken about. You're going to see a lot of teams. Boys aren't going to be getting the same niggles that are getting playing 2 games a week. We know it's like, man, it's a fucking hard shift when you've been at your work all day and you've got to play football, because boys generally don't do their stretches or look after themselves particularly well when they're not playing, so it catches up with them. Moving on to Conference C, Vela Clyde lost 2-0 to Nielsen, and the Drum won 7-1 to the Ants. Danny and Kush will be pretty pissed off losing that game after having such a good result against Nielsen during the week and no losing a goal, because that's a bit of a doing. But the top two, that's Nielsen and the Drum, top 2 teams now, and that went with form, to be fair, so I don't think there's a massive amount to say on that.
No, I see Vela Clyde have just announced a new gaffer, so all the best to him.
Who was it? I've not seen it.
They've just announced it there. It's a bit one of the Bellshill coaches. So good luck to him and them. But just the Drum. The Drum have obviously the Drum have responded well for their defeat to the Rock, we putting two wins on the bounce together, and that's an impressive result. Listen, that with the recent form that Danny and the Ants boys have been on, they'll just be looking to just erase that one out the memory as best as they can, and then just concentrating on the next one. So, it's tough, mate. It's been there, it's hard. You're going to not be happy, and you're scratching your head wondering how you can go for one performance to a proper performance like they gave on Saturday. But when you look too much into
it, it's a game you're expected to not get into. I think it's maybe worse with the amount of goals you've conceded. But the Ants wouldn't have been looking at that beforehand and saying, well, that's 3 points for us there, you know what I mean? So it's just one more game. Moving on to Division 4, first time we've been able to talk about it. Hamley Row drew 1 each with Glenvale. Coolside continued their good run, beating Campbelltown 5-2. And the mighty San Pedro's beat BSC 8-2. Hamley Row and Glenvale have been on a bit of a decent run recently. They've only lost 1 out of the last 6, which was to us. But John's brought in a couple of new players, and they looked much better the second time we played them in the first game. It was a tough game for us to come away with in there.
John's got good experience at this level with having that couple of seasons at the Ants, mate. So he'll add players as the season goes along and make them a better side.
He seemed to be picking up. Coolside again, expected to win. Campbelltown.
I've heard lots of good things about Coolside.
They're a good side. We were disappointed against them. We went 2-0 down, got it to 2 each. Then against their run of play, we had a corner. They broke up apart and scored late on, which took the points. A draw probably would have been a fair result that day, and we were quite poor as well. But they're a decent side. On to St Peters, 8-2 for us yesterday.
Firstly, mate, sorry to interrupt you, mate. Firstly, obviously, you announced on Twitter that that's your last game as assistant manager for the mighty San Pedro's, and you've moved into a committee role. I know that it's not probably the role that you're going to, it's tailor-made for you because it isn't. You're a football guy, but I know with your commitments that you've got the new and work and stuff like that, family commitments, then it's proven difficult. But listen, I'm delighted the boys get that result for you. I seen Kieran Friel get a couple, man. That says it all. That says it all for me. Listen, I wish you all the best on your new venture on the committee, St Peters, and that's a great way for the boys to sign off your spell at the.
No, it was nice. It was nice. I said to them in the dressing room, I was like, look, that's my last game as a coach. Going to go and win it. And Kieran Friel's like, nobody cares. That's real. Cheers, Kieran. We went and scored a double. No, we were good yesterday. We were 3-0 up at half time. Saying that at 1-0, BSC had 2 great chances. Ryan Williams made 2 excellent saves and goals. And it's after that, we kind of went on and controlled the rest of the game. But it could have been a different result. But the boys were good. That was the first time for me we've been properly clinical in front of goal. We normally have a lot of chances and we'll just miss too many. But it was good to get so many goals. I'm pissed off we lost 2 goals late on though, because if you're scoring 8 goals, for me, you shouldn't be losing. You can lose 1, but losing 2 is not good enough. But it was a decent performance. So in Division 4, Coolside are still top of the league. They're joint with Finnart, ahead of them in goal difference. Glenvale are 3rd, St Peters are 4th. We win our game in hand, we go 3rd. Then you've got Hamley Row, Harthill, Campbelltown and BSC. It's quite a mental league, to be honest. I think you take points off each other.
For me, on the outside, there has been already teams taking points off each other, but I'd probably say, for what I'm seeing, just like results-wise and even just in conversation, that it could probably be between Finnart and Coolside for the league. And it pains me to say it for you, PG, mate.
See, the thing is, they've been more consistent than us. The problem we've had is we get beat 2-1 off Finnart, scored an own goal the last kick of the ball. A draw wouldn't even have been a fair result. Genuinely, their management team were like, we'd have robbed you with a draw. We were by far a better team. I'd have thought a draw against Coolside would have been fair, but we lost the late goal. We lost the late goal to Harthill. That's been our issue. It's that concentration and consistency. But that's thing. It's first season for us. They teams have been together for a couple of years. We're kind of built state for scratch, so we just take it as it is. But the boys were good yesterday, which was quite pleasing. Hopefully, they can kick on for it. But that's us for another week for the roundup. Hope you all enjoy it. And we've got an episode out on Wednesday. We have assistant manager from Gart Cairn, Scott Mills, on with us, and we've got a top man, Gaz Johnson, the kit man, who was a previous manager with Gart Cairn. and assistant manager at Lanark. It's a good laugh. We have Millsy's pals with Dax, so we had a good couple of stories in it, and also make sure you tune in for it.
Listen, cheers everybody, and hope everybody has a good week, and we'll catch up with you next week when we get another PG and Dak roundup.
Beautiful. Right, take care.
Take it easy.